think the Russians' minds have been concentrated by the bill that Senator Lindsey Graham
Yes.
is putting up to the Senate, although it hasn't yet been probably tabled. And this is a bill that says if Russia walks away, then we should impose massive extra tariffs.
So now let's talk about this phone call, which I think has now just ended between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in the Kremlin. Before the call, the White House press secretary Karoline Leavitt spoke about the aims of the conversation.
Well, I think, again, we'll see how the call goes, and the president has made it clear his goal is to see a ceasefire and to see this conflict come to an end. And he's grown weary and frustrated with both sides of the conflict. The president and his team have put an enormous amount of effort in solving this very complicated war that, again, began because of the last administration's weakness.
And the press secretary was asked this.
Putin ghosted everybody at these peace talks last week. As President Trump phones him today to try to figure out an end to the Ukraine war, does he think that Putin is the good guy or the bad guy?
I'll let the president speak on that conversation later. He's made his feelings about both sides of this war quite clear throughout it. He wants to see it end.
And hopefully we'll hear from President Trump about what did go on and what he may have gained from it or not a bit later on. We'll bring it to you as we hear it. Right now, Tim Marshall is with us, the foreign correspondent, the author of Prisoners of Geography. Hi to you, Tim.
Hello there, John.
Hi. Look, we don't know because we haven't yet heard anything by way of a readout or from the president himself or from his press secretary, but we got some experience of this stuff. We got our own instincts. This phone call, does it feel like a significant moment to you?
Well, I wish you could ask me that about 15 to 20 minutes' time after we get his first tweets or truth socials, but we don't have that luxury. Yes, it's significant because I believe he means what he says when he says he has limited patience. What we don't know is that if the patience has snapped, does he walk away completely? Or does he actually decide to do what he said he might do on the campaign trail, which is that if Russia is the one that isn't making any progress, he will side with Ukraine. We shall see.
Yeah.
I think the call began more or less on time, which is positive because last time Putin made him wait, which you can imagine he wouldn't like too much. And I think it lasted, if it has just finished, I haven't got that confirmation that you have.
He's posting or posts are appearing. So,
well, no,
unless
he's
he's
posting on that?
posting
I've
while
been
he's
following
talking.
that as well, and he's been posting for about 5 minutes, but not about this. And I think it's just somebody else putting out stuff about other things on his behalf. So I don't know if it has finished, but if it has, I think it lasted about 40 minutes, which again is positive because it means they had something to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we will wait and see, and hopefully learn a little bit later on. But I'm looking now at a statement from Sergei Markov, the former Putin advisor, on what he thinks should come from these talks. And Markov is pretty well plugged into the thinking.
Yes.
In the Kremlin. And what are the things that Markov thinks Putin is going to be after? Here's a few of them. Well, to refuse a 30-day unconditional ceasefire, but then offer some other peaceful path to achieve a summit in the near future. So look, if there's a date, if there's a promise of that would count as a step forward, leading to who knows what. But equally, it could equally be a fudge. So we don't yet know on that one. And then this,
John, and I think it's important you brought that up there because I think it was Rubio, the Secretary of State, repeated Trump's phrase about tapping us along, American. Playing them along, stringing it out yesterday. And if Putin were to agree to a summit, a face-to-face, that would be a very good way of tapping them along again.
Well, there you go. Even that bit of progress, look, could be just a route to another fudge. And here's another one of the Markov ideas of what Putin's going to want. Detach the restoration of bilateral relations between Russia and the USA from the Ukrainian issue. Well, you can bet the Kremlin wants that. They want to get back to the normalization of relations without any strings attached where the war's concerned. And you sort of think the White House would quite like to get back to bilateral relations as soon as possible, but to do it while Putin gives nothing, that would just open up such a split. And here's another: achieving that Trump stops arms supplies to Ukraine, or at least reduces them again. I can see why Russia would definitely want that, and achieve that Trump stops supplying intelligence to the Ukrainian army, which would be a serious blow. So all of these conditions, you can see why Putin would want them. It's not hard, not easy to see why Trump could give them, and if he even thought about giving this stuff, it would be seen as just giving so much and too much to Putin.
Yeah, none of that would advance peace. None of that would really suit Trump either, because as you say, it would look like he'd walked away with getting absolutely zero. And if he is seriously annoyed with the Russians on this, the things like intelligence sharing is a very easy one to give, because it doesn't actually cost much to the American taxpayer, because they're already collecting that intelligence anyway. The bigger questions would be, will the aid and the training and all the rest of it still keep flowing? And unfortunately, we are no further forward. I think the Russians' minds have been concentrated by the bill that Senator Lindsey Graham is putting up to the Senate, although it hasn't yet been probably tabled. And this is a bill that says if Russia walks away, then we should impose massive extra tariffs. The bit I don't truly understand about the bill is that he's talking about, and I've got the wording in front of me, and it's a 500% increase on tariffs from on to countries that buy Russian energy.
Yes.
Well, that would be everybody, just about,
including China,
UK, and Germany.
No. Yeah, I don't. That is a problem with that idea. And in any case, you would need surely Trump's thumbs up for that piece of legislation to get the GOP on Capitol Hill.
I mean, Graham is a real Republican hawk, South Carolina Republican, and a Russian hawk, and they're not the best of buddies, the two. So I'm just a bit skeptical about whether they're actually just trying to stampede the Russians into agreeing something, because of 500% tariffs, if this bill passes and it went to Trump, he's got to put a 500% tariff onto products from China.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to open up that can of worms, surely. So again, this is why I wanted to talk to you in 15 minutes, John.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure we will know a bit more, because we need to, when we get the first Trump's tweets, Truth Social's first readout, and then hopefully the press secretary, we have to look for the tone as well as the actual words. What tone is Trump using? That'll give us the better indication about where we're going.
Yeah, we're all really thirsty for that kind of information, assuming we get it. But meanwhile, that was a help to understanding. Good to talk to you, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Mayor Putin, how do you think we get those talks on track?
We have to meet. He and I will meet. I think we'll solve it, or maybe not, but at least we'll know. And if we don't solve it, it'll be very interesting.
And then did Austin Tice come up when you talked?
They're not in good shape, as you know.